Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Swim Lessons. I'm your host, Dallas Hanson. On today's show, we've got a really special one. It's with the owner and one of the greatest human beings on planet Earth, and he gets to own the greatest party anywhere. That is the Buffalo Chip located in Sturgis, South Dakota. The Buffalo Chip has a lot of moving pieces when it comes to what it is. I've been fortunate enough to work for the Chip the last 4 years, and I've got to see firsthand all the great musical acts they bring into their music festival, and also just things that go on during the day that go hand in hand with the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. So to sit down with Rod and talk about how it all came to fruition, from how he got the piece of land to how it has become what it is today. Just for reference, their big main acts this year are Jelly Roll, Kid Rock, Quiet Riot, Aaron Lewis, who is a former frontman for Stained, and just a lot of other music acts that they have, and what they bring to the table with creating such a fun thing that human beings get to interact with each other and keep their inner child alive, if you will. So a shout out to the Woodruff family, and especially Rod, aka Woody, and for sitting down with me for just short of an hour and talking about all these different stories he had, and stories about Toby Keith, stories about Kid Rock, Jelly Roll, all these different guys and who he's friends with, and had some really interesting stories. But before we get to Rod, we got to talk about our sponsors because they make this all possible. First sponsor, new sponsor alert, Game Day Media, more than a game. Your leader in live video sports coverage in Northwest North Dakota. At Game Day Media, our goal is to expose, support, and promote the best athletes that North Dakota has to offer. Subscribe to our channel at Game Day Media ND on YouTube, or find us on Facebook at Game Day, that's GAMEDAY Media, for schedules, quick links to games. Make sure you enable those alerts so when they post a new video you can see, and also to see what they have coming up on their schedule. So shout out to Game Day Media and the Peterson boys, who I had the privilege to work for as well. So a lot of good things coming up for Game Day Media. Our next sponsor, this is a big one, PSP Network. It's Game Day, promoting local athletes in the state of North Dakota. They are right here in the heart of baseball and softball season. So they're doing a lot of live events right now. So make sure you check out their schedule of events on their website. That's psp.network, or find them on YouTube at PSP Network. Nick Holberg and his team do an amazing job on promoting local athletes. I know Mr. Holberg's in the heart of dirt track racing. He does the announcing for that. He really does that. So make sure you check out that as well. But very appreciative of PSP Network. Next up is Sports on Tap and Planet Pizza, located in Minot, North Dakota. Sports on Tap have been locally owned and operated for the last 30 years. Find them on Facebook at Sports on Tap, or give them a call the old school way. That's 701-837-8220. Tony Mueller and his family have also built this top deck thing, if you will. It's a outdoor patio, so perfect for grabbing an adult beverage with your friends and family. They got fire pits up on top on their outdoor patio. They have live music from time to time, and just it's the perfect place to have a beverage on a nice summer night here in the state of North Dakota. So make sure you check out Sports on Tap and Planet Pizza. Last but not least is Glasso Angus. Glasso Angus is a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons. Glasso Angus is your premier source for registered Black Angus cattle since 1973. Glasso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and docility, and are built to thrive on the northern plains. Check out Glasso Angus, GLASOE, Angus, ANGUS.com. And that's it for our sponsors. Appreciate each and every one of them. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you like and subscribe to Swim Lessons. And just know, myself, Dallas Hanson, I'm very appreciative of everybody. We're starting to hit a roll here with the pod, and it's been a lot of fun to be on this journey with everybody. But that's enough. Let's get to this conversation. One of my favorite people and most interesting human beings I've ever came in contact with, Mr. Rod Woodruff. It's good to see you. I mean, it's the weather right now when we're sitting here is going to be hopefully a lot different come rally time, but it's kind of weird. This is my first time being here when there's no people here, no campers, no nothing. So this is weird for me to see the place kind of empty. I'm used to it full to the brim.
Well, you can't say it's empty. We have 24 pair of geese here with another 4 or 5 dozen little goslings running around, and a few ducks and a lot of deer. So
yeah. Well, it's sitting in the meeting today. First off, thanks for the marketing job. Really appreciate coming on board for you guys, and a lot of exciting things coming. Let's just start off right with the summer schedule. You've announced a few bands. Kid Rock, big time. Last time I was here working in the bars, it was like 100,000 people at that show. A lot.
Well, I thought it was 1 million.
Numbers a little adjusted there.
Well, there's numbers are just one of those fun things that people talk about. Nobody's ever right about. So I figure it would just be grossly wrong. Yeah.
No, and then you got Jelly Roll and Quiet Riot. Those have been the 3 big, and Aaron Lewis as well.
Yeah.
But that's some pretty big acts. That's got to be a good feeling to have the acts like that coming to town.
And Travis Tritt.
Okay, sweet.
And really, one of the things that we're personally looking really forward to is on the last Saturday, we got Mini Kiss coming in. So we're going to do a bunch of goofy stuff. So we're going to have mini bike races and just mini this and mini that. And finish it off with a nice little mini party.
Mini fest.
It'd be a mini rally ending.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I right now, I want listeners that are going to listen.
I forgot to turn off my dang phone.
Oh, that's all right.
Forgive me.
No, you're good.
I'll turn it off. Yeah, that's just Steve telling me that he's working and we're getting ready for the rally and showers are in good shape.
Okay, good. We'll leave that part in then. I was taking some notes, before we did this prior weeks to this. And one thing I want to talk about is for you to take us back to the early stages of the Buffalo Chip, because it wasn't always like this, not a huge amphitheater. It was just kind of a pasture, right?
Well, it's exactly. When we started, we were just, the people there was a large movement in Sturgis to figure out a way to get people on motorcycles to stay away, right? And so we just thought we'd look for some place where we could have a party, wouldn't be bothering those people, right? And so we looked around the neighborhood and found this particular piece of property that had a nice little hill between the road and where we'd be having the party. So from the road, nobody knew, right? Yeah. Couldn't see it. And so found the people that owned it, see if we could work out a little use for that. She had inherited it. It had been part of a very large, in my mind, a several thousand acre ranch back in the days when Fort Meade was first founded in the late 1800s. Oh. And, she was married and living in a city someplace else, and the property had just been sitting here idle for a good long time. So she let us use it, and so that's how we started. It was 3 strands of barbed wire, grass, and that was it. So there was no water, no electricity, nothing. It was just a pasture.
3 strands of barbed wire.
Yeah, 3 strands of barbed wire.
And who would have thought you'd be here right now, sitting and talking to a kid from Crosby, North Dakota about how big it is now?
Well, that's exactly correct. Never gave that any thought. We were just looking to have a party. And, it was just a natural outgrowth of throwing keg parties in high school. You look for some place where nobody's going to see you, and you have a party. The only difference was that we were telling everybody in advance where it was at, right? And so, it, as it turns out, wasn't a bad idea.
Yeah, great idea.
And, the property worked out all right. And within a few years, I was able to buy from them on a contract, no money down, right? Because didn't have any money.
Yep.
And so, and then bought some more property, no money down, pay you later. And that's just how we build it.
Did you ever have a feeling like this is a big risk? I don't know if this is a good thing, bad thing, but I'm going to take the risk.
Oh, our motto is you ride free and you take risks. And and now I say, well, you mean you should calculate them. But in those days, I didn't have anything to lose. So
Right.
I didn't have to calculate it, right? We were just having a party.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Who was the first big act that came out here?
Oh, I don't know if we ever really had big acts. But, that very first year, let's see, Jerry Lee Lewis was supposed to perform, but he didn't. And
Did he come out here or he didn't
No,
come?
no.
Okay.
Johnny Paycheck was here, and Susan Nelson, one of Willie's older daughters.
Okay.
And so that was it. There were a number of local people that we hung out with at the bars the rest of the year, right? Yeah. And they come out here, and that's really what made it a party. It was a bunch of people just having a party. It just is that simple.
So now, fast forward a few years, you get the stage set up.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a story about Leonard Skinnard saying, Woody, we'll come back and play, but you got to get us a legit stage. Tell us a little bit about kind of making the stage and what all went down with that.
Yeah, well, that first year, there was an arrangement to rent a stage, and that was just a bad idea because it didn't have any money. So, but we had a bonfire. Everybody enjoyed the bonfire. And so somebody said, well, you have to build a stage. So, we didn't do that, right? Then when I bought the property, I thought, okay, now we need to build a stage. So we just threw together scrap lumber that we had from found some other place, tore down an old fence or two, and a wooden fence, and built a stage out of it. And then so then now you got a stage. Well, you should have a roof, right?
Yeah.
And so we got some telephone poles and put up a stage, and that worked for a little while, and Skinnard came out, and God,
what was
it
that
was
like? Because that's the big band back in the day.
Well,
what were they like?
Things were different back in the day.
Yeah.
Right. I used to pay $2 to see the Everly Brothers at Ruskin Park. Things are different, right? Yeah. You can't buy chewing gum for $2 anymore.
No, you can't.
Right. And so, we had Leonard Skinnard, and that was really the first little taste of it. But Bid, he said, he says, we like the place. There's just no place like the crowd that you have here, the party you have here. We'd love to come back, and we'll come back next year. But you got to promise me you'll have a stage. I said, well, you're confirming right now. I'm telling you we'll have a stage next year, right?
Yeah.
And so, we borrowed the blueprints from a well-known amphitheater, right, for their stage.
Nice.
And then we got some old oil field pipe and stuff, and we substituted pipe for I-beam and crap like that, right?
Yep.
And we built a stage, and we put a real roof on it, because that was the next thing. We built that first roof, and they said, well, you have to have a real roof, right? Not well, I thought,
the bar keeps getting set higher and higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always something. And so they came back just like they said they would. And Bid looks up at the stage and he says, well, why such overkill? I said, because I didn't ever want anybody telling me one more thing, right?
Yeah. And
that's kind of it. So that stage still stands. We built that stage. The materials for this stage came partly from oil field stuff, because the oil, that was one of those bumps where all of a sudden oil was no longer allowed, and all the drilling pipe was just trash, and so you could get it for practically nothing, right? And and I had a fella who didn't have a job, who was a real good welder. And he actually welded everything on this friggin' stage.
The one right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
One guy,
No
did
kidding.
that over the course of the winter. And let's see, and the framework that's holding the deck up, came from a bridge that Teddy Roosevelt built. Was the first Bureau of Reclamation project. And so it crossed the Belle Fourche River at Fruitdale. And so we bought that, and then we just used those pieces to build, the rest of the stage and stuff with.
Wow.
So again, it was all scrap material, right? And so we're kind of big on scrap material that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, right?
Yeah.
So some of the other stuff's built here. When the Homestake Gold Mine went out of business, we got a whole bunch more.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of
good stuff, right?
Well, I must say, Woody, this is kind of not just you; it's a family affair. Your daughter and your son also work hand in hand with you. What's it like to have you kind of started this, on your own, and now you've got a family, a good team, everybody behind you? How does that make you feel, and to have your daughter and son alongside you?
Oh, I scratch my head all the time and think, people ask me, well, did you plan all this? I didn't even plan to have kids, right? Much less have,
God's festival. Yeah.
So, it's ride free, take risks, right? And so just kept going. And, I should be pinching myself every day because how'd you figure out all this? Did you have it all planned? I said, no, it's just luck, right? I mean, we're just one day at a time. That's why it's 43 years later, and this is all the further we've gotten, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a long ways, Woody. You guys have done good. What's like kind of back in the 80s, 90s? Take me to like some shows and what they were like back then for new people that are coming to the festival.
I don't know that there was any difference.
Yeah.
Times were different. The music was different. We got electricity now.
Yeah.
We have water now, right?
Yep.
So, we had 3 wells here. We got one well at Madison Formation, 3,180 feet deep with 10-inch casing. It's a serious dang project. And, but again, we just did this stuff. The way we got our first, we didn't have any water, like I said, and Ruth Anderson was working for the county, and there don't remember what, but she called me up from the county office and said, "Well, you've got to have water out there." I said, "Really? People can bring water, right?"
Yeah.
And so we had to have water out here. So I thought, okay. So I was practicing law, and I had a client who had a well drilling company. So he came out and drilled us our first well, right? Which, wasn't big enough or good enough as we started growing pretty fast because we had a simple philosophy: just give people some place where they're welcome to go and hang out and be free. So we try not to have a whole bunch of rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just worked out because it's just always nice people here. Things just go on. It's like just a lot of the agents. I say, more than once I've been asked, how can you have so many people here and never have any trouble? I just tell them, all nice people, and they just come have fun. And then next time when they come back, they bring friends with them, right? And so that's how we got the big well. Is we had, oh my God, we got to have more water, right?
Well, you got a lot of good showers here and bathroom areas, and it's good stuff.
Well, yeah, but we needed it, right?
Yeah.
So we had the need first, and then we went out and overkilled it, and we might, have to overkill it again here pretty soon, right?
Well, it's a kind of a forgotten art, if you will, just like being in today's day and age with social media and stuff. People can get caught up on their phones, but when you come here for the festival, it's your slogan is the greatest party anywhere, and it truly is. Like, I wouldn't say that just because we're sitting face to face, but it's like one of those things where you come here and realize, oh, we are in this game of life, and we are getting one chance at this thing. And here it is, this great venue with great music acts, and it's awesome to see, man. It's a good thing.
Well, first and foremost, we're motorcycles, right?
Right.
And so it was motorcyclists that we were looking to have at the party. It was motorcyclists who came as motorcycle enthusiasts now who drive their coaches in and, set up camp and then just relax and goof off for however dang long they feel like goofing off.
Yeah.
So, but that's what it is. It's a party.
Yeah.
And so you come in, next thing you know, you're making friends next door to you in the next campsite. And in the evening, there's music, right? Well, we got music in the daytime too, as far as that goes, but different parts of the campground. And
one of my favorite things, and it was my first year working here at the bars, and I didn't know what to expect. And I can't remember who the band was, but the motorcycle guys drove in their motorcycles into the amphitheater and just sat on their motorcycles. And then when the band would be about like 5 minutes from coming out, revving up those engines, like rather than clapping and yelling. And that, like every music act, like Buck Cherry, whoever it was, like big time guys, Kid Rock, that's what they say. We love to hear those motors roar.
Yep.
Like, let's go. And well, how did that come about? Was that just from the get-go people would ride in, or?
Yeah. You know, why tell people to park their bike someplace and walk when,
right.
I mean, the reason we're having them is you know, that's what I tell people. Why are you in line? You've got a motorcycle. Go around these friggin' cars, right? That's just the way it works. You're on a bike, you can go. And so, yeah, people just come to the amphitheater and sit on their, you know, and the Harley Davidson. I mean, it was all Harley Davidsons when we started. I mean, there was nobody else. It's what
just,
it amounted to.
It puts the musicians never forget the buffalo chip because of that little angle that you guys have. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen anywhere else.
Well,
nowhere else.
I believe that's true. We've heard it so many times, but you know, we like it too.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
it does.
You know, I don't want to. If I can ride there, I'd rather not walk.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Taking it back a little bit more too is when you take me in your mind right now, Woody, when you say the night of Kid Rock this year and you're walking in the amphitheater and not everybody knows your face, not everybody knows you own the place. So when you're walking around and you're taking all this in, what's going through your mind?
Oh, I'm just looking to make sure that people are having a good time. Want to see what they're doing. Anymore, I do get recognized quite a little bit, so I'm talking to people all the time. I'm going around, and you know, you pick up. You just get to know people. You know what they want. What are they enjoying most? Right? What can we do better? And that's really what we're looking for. Is what always can we do better? And so many years. I mean, maybe every year we thought, "Woo!" You know, we survived another one, and God, we got a lot of compliments from people. Got somebody else found something to complain about, whether it rained and it hit the dirt and it turned into mud or something.
Right.
But you know. We had so many compliments of it's like, what are we going to be able to do next year to make it better still? And so that's that constant and never-ending improvement canai that I got from somebody. And he said, when I bought my business, you know, the guy just told me, constant and never-ending improvement. You're always looking for a way to make it better, and that's what we're doing.
I like that.
Well, you know, but
that's good.
So if you don't have a fortune, it takes you a while to get there, but also we got such a variety of people because we have people literally from every walk of life, from many countries, every state, every year, come here, and everybody enjoys something a little bit different. So, you know, you got the pond and the beach, and you got all the contests and the music on that stage at the beach. And then there's the Hoyt-Axton area up over there. It's a little bit different music and different vendors and, you know, different bartenders. And you got the Camp Zero over there for, you know, the kids that really refuse to grow up.
Yep.
And
Damon's over there a lot. Just kidding, Damon.
Yeah. My son Damon. Yeah. So that's it. You walk around and just appreciate people and try to see what could be done a little bit better.
Yeah. One of our mutual friends, Todd Bailey, he's got a tattoo. Shout out Todd Bailey. He's got a tattoo of your signature with the buffalo chip emblem on his arm. I mean, that's got to be a special feeling when you walk around seeing that.
Yeah, I think he went and had somebody do my face on his arm as a tattoo as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Todd is a marvelous individual, and he insists on being the Buffalo Chips #1 fan. Yep. Right? And I got to say, probably
he does a good job.
Nobody's going to compete with him.
Every time, like after the work shift and after all the concerts, he'll be down at the beach. And every time with me, he goes, I'm going to call Rod. Rod's going to come down here and see you guys screwing around. I'm going to call Rod. And then if you don't answer, he's like, well, I better call Damon. Damon, get down here. They're messing around again. I love Todd.
Yeah. He's a remarkable individual.
And
He really
just
is.
like he comes from Illinois, and I met a bunch of people last year from Brazil. So like you were saying, they come from everywhere, and they just love it here.
Yep.
And it helps to have like the Black Hills and the backdrop of the Buffalo Chip, which is beautiful. So you were talking about motorcycles, like riding here, like Needles Highway, everywhere else is a thing in itself.
This is a riding rally,
Yeah.
And it maybe it's changed some over the years, but I think really there's just so many more people here. But, this is a riding rally. People come here still to ride motorcycles. And, compared to the traffic in most of the cities where a lot of these people come from, right? You can be here in the middle of the rally and still don't have nothing like the traffic at home.
Yeah.
So
seriously.
Yeah, so you're up through the Black Hills. I mean, the roads are perfect for motorcycle riding. It's 15 degrees cooler during the daytime. You're riding through the hills. The roads are banked. I mean, it's just like if you're a skier, you just slalom on your motorcycle through the hills. It's just amongst the best riding in the whole friggin' world.
No, it is.
And you have all these iconic little trips that you can go, I think I'll go see Mount Rushmore today. Oh, okay, that's an hour that way, 45 minutes that way. Well, how about Crazy Horse? The largest sculpture. And, there's a dreamer. Guy just bought a mountain and decided he was going to carve it into the likeness of Crazy Horse on a horse.
Seriously,
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often anybody who did that. I mean, that's another one-of-a-kind thing, and it's only in the Black Hills of South Dakota, right?
Or you can go to Deadwood, gamble a little bit too, which is a fantastic town.
Absolutely, you check out and say, okay, Wild Bill Hickok was shot right there? Really,
Wow. Yeah.
right? And then one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, Devil's Tower just down the way. And, same little volcanic almost eruption, was Bear Butte right here where Crazy Horse got his name.
Yeah.
And so, there's lots of little things. You got the Deadwood Bismarck Trail there. You got the Desward Fort Pierre trail going through this way.
Yeah.
Wild Bill Hickok, Buffalo Bill, those people all horseback were here, right? Every one of them, right? So
one of my favorite things last year was seeing the Clydesdales come with the Budweiser. And they drove right from Big Engine Bar all the way down to the main amphitheater.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep, we've had the Clydesdales here more than once, and what a beautiful mouse! My God, they're so big,
The best.
right? And so pampered.
They were doing like some sound check stuff, and they didn't even move a muscle. Like they were just so trained, they just stood there in line. That's how they are.
Yeah, not every horse is that way.
I know that.
when we started off, our security crew was horseback to start with, right?
What?
And,
I didn't know that.
They'd be. Coondog was our, basically our security chief, and he did, at that point in time, he didn't have a car, but he lived in the hills up about 90 miles from here. And he would ride horseback down here with 2 other pack horses carrying his stuff, right? And so he'd be out in front of the stage. This was the early stage, right? With his horse. And, he had put tampons in his ears, so he so it wouldn't hurt his hearing. Right?
Somebody's got to do that this year. Somebody's going to hear this and do that. That's going to be the new thing. To hell with earplugs.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing because when people come here, security is a big thing. A lot of different people here, and Cosmo and the Cowboys, shout out to those guys, do a fantastic job. I mean, there's always a few altercations, but it never escalates in anything big. And Cosmo they do such a good job.
Yeah, the worst problems we ever had here were clients of mine arguing with their wives out in the parking lot.
Yeah,
that's the truth of the matter.
Thing. Yeah.
And so, and the tampons went into the horse's ears, not Coondogs.
Oh, well,
right?
dang.
Yeah.
Well, somebody could still do that. They could manufacture that.
That'd be tough.
Don't want a deaf horse. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's awesome. What a great story. With the Cowboys though, that's they're always riding around and they're like a radio call away. That's a big part of the chip.
We
and they're rough, tough guys. They're usually like true cowboys, cattlemen.
Yep. They get done haying, and it works out just about right. They just get done haying, and they're ready for a party.
Right behind you, and this is a fantastic studio. This is where you interview a lot of the music acts, but right behind you is multiple autographs of people that have been here. Do you have a concert in your mind that was personally one of your favorites?
Oh,
Give us one, Rod. Come on, Woody. Give us just one that sticks out.
What stands out here is that when the artists come here, almost, I don't know of anybody that didn't go away thinking, holy crap, that was marvelous. I mean, Ian Anderson, I think, with now playing the flute. I blank out on names occasionally.
Okay.
I can see the covers of the albums, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, just said, how was the best friggin' concert I ever played in my life? We brought Boston back when they first started. It's the same thing. How was the best? The magic that they feel from the audience here. I have to believe, because so many artists have said it, the audience is different here. The mood is different. They just soak in that vibe, and it shows up in their performances.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Kid Rock this year, right? He announced he's only going to do 8 shows a year, and he got his 8 shows all booked. And we were talking and said, well, I'd come back this year. Well, that's number 9, right?
Boom.
So he's coming. Yeah.
Wow.
So why not? So is there a favorite show? I always talk about 2 shows, right?
Okay.
Because, I can talk about others that maybe were, stand out. And if you give me time, we could go on forever probably. But, I'll always, Toby Keith and Kid Rock both. They both they got on. Toby Keith was the first guy. So we were getting ready to do a meet and greet, and he's there, and he got this brand new white hat on and everything, and a raindrop hit his hat just as we were about to introduce him to the guys for the meet and greet. And he looked up at the sky, and he said, "We got to get on stage right now." And he turned around, rustled up the band. They got on the stage. It started pouring. Lightning struck. This was back 2005. Lightning struck. We had a little antenna on top of the stage for our, this was before we had fiber. Yeah. And so we had a little antenna up there catching it. Lightning struck, blew the stuff off. He was sponsored by Ford, and they had a Ford F-150, half of it as part of the stage backdrop, blew that sucker down, and he performed with the band throughout the friggin' storm, soaking wet, and it quit raining as soon as they were done, right?
Yeah.
Nobody left, right? The crowd stood right there with him the whole time, and when he was done, he gave each band member a $2,000 bonus for sticking with him, right? And I thought, this guy's a saint, right? Yeah. Just a friggin' saint. And Kid Rock, walking around pacing in, because it started raining early, and but we'd had a new sponsor, and sign company had left a couple holes in the roof, so we were up there plugging him in the rain and wiping off the stage, and he's pacing back and forth, and time's going by, and he says, I don't know who I'd stand in the rain for an hour and a half to listen to, but I'm going to give him the best show I can. And phew, and that was, I forget what year that was, but in 2013, he was back, and tremendous thunderstorm. And Michael Lichter was up on what I'll call the Pee Wee Herman platform, because we built it for Pee Wee's little deal with Pee Wee. And, and clicking the shutter, and lightning bolt struck our water tower the same time he hit the shutter. And you got 1 in 150 million chances that lightning bolt lit up everybody. There's Kid Rock on the stage performing in the rain. CMT Television was doing a live performance of his concert, and the crowd standing there, not a shadow anywhere. I mean, it lit everybody up. Perfect friggin' photo. But I mean, there again, those guys were there for the audience, not just to perform. They're there to give those people the best experience they've ever had. And I'm not saying other people didn't, because I think a lot of them did, but those 2 experiences, those are people that talk with, and I know I have all this little different input. I think, wow, these guys are just out of this world.
Right when you
Nice
walk
people.
right when you walk in your office, that picture's up, and it's awesome. We'll put it on the pod. Yeah, that is a fan. Michael Richter, he's a really talented human, and yeah, that shot is amazing.
So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So otherwise, Johnny Lang, when he was like 16 years old, guy did a perfect show, right? 16 years old. That, sticks out. Way back when, in maybe like 85 or 86, 87, who knows? So, we had, a little Wolf, what the heck? Nick St. Nicholas had been with John Kay from Steppenwolf before they were Steppenwolf, right?
Yep.
And, did the stuff. And so we're out there with the crowd in the early days. And, the crowd just loved them, and just standing ovation. I mean, everybody's standing anyway, but
yeah,
I mean, they had the crowd just wrapped around their fingers, and we had the best garage band in the world, I was told, and I was a fan of theirs anyway. But the Kingsmen with Louie back way before you were born,
no,
right?
I know that, yeah.
And so here are these guys in white suits backstage with me, and I'm thinking, everybody out there is wearing black, right?
Yeah.
And they just, loved Get Your Motor Running, and and the Wolf. That was the name of the band, the Wolf. And these guys going to go out there in white suits.
Did they go out
right?
in white?
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go out there in white suits, and I'm telling you, within 2 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating, could have been 3, could have been 1.5. I mean, they had the audience wrapped around their fingers. They were so good. It was just stunning, because I was concerned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Heck yeah. I'm sure you were. What? Real quick, what's your relationship like with Kid Rock? Do you have his phone number in your phone? Do you guys talk every now and then? What's the relationship like?
We send texts once in a while, and
you get to text Kid Rock. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's been kind of stayed at his house a couple times.
Yeah.
And
what was that like?
He's showing me around. He's an exceptionally nice person.
Yeah.
He's absolute businessman. He's not just an artist. He's a businessman. He's dedicated to his professional, and he's got his future planned, and he's planning the future, what he's leaving to his kids. I mean, he's just a
business guy.
A lot of people are business guys, but
yeah,
he's an exceptional human being.
He is a man. I just listened to his podcast with Joe Rogan, and Kid Rock was talking about a place he built in Nashville called the White House, and it's actually like, was that the place you stayed at, or?
Yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
Fun
it's
time?
an exact duplicate, I think, on the outside of of the White House. On the inside, it's a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And it's but the whole place is right. It's the highest point around Nashville. It's about 10 miles from downtown Nashville. You can sit up there in the back deck and look down at the skyscrapers and all of the construction going on in Nashville 10 miles away, and it's absolutely peaceful, right? And if you look at that one album that he did, the Born Free, right? I mean, that Cadillac was owned by Hank Williams Jr., actually. And, you see the 6 guns and stuff in there with Kid Rock, his feet up on the deal, just being free, right? Feeling free. But, so he's got this humongous big studio, got a museum there for the stuff that he wants to have in a museum, and that Cadillac's one of them, right?
Oh.
It's a sweetheart deal. But, I mean, he's way more than what people think.
Yeah, there's a lot more to him.
Yeah, way more.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see him this year. He puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah, he's coming to... I thought, this is kind of a one-off. He volunteered to do it, and and we appreciate that. But he's added more stuff. I don't know what it is yet, but I know that there's bringing more trucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah.
And so I had thought, a few years ago he was here, probably 4 years ago, he was here and he announced his candidacy 5 years ago, maybe. He announced his candidacy for the presidency from our stage, right? And had a whole show to go with it. I don't know if you missed it or not. But
I missed it. Let me fix that mic for you. Is that good?
No,
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Anyway, he's one of those standout people. I mean, he stands out more than anybody else we got. When he first came here, was 2004. I was pretty nervous about it.
No kidding. Just didn't want it to get too rowdy out there, or what were you thinking?
No, I was just thinking I was just nervous, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. He started off in the basement, right, with a phonograph.
Yeah.
And now I'm putting him in front of a pretty good sized bunch of different people that went in the basement with him, doing his, and then for the rap thing that he went into. But I was right by the stage when he went on stage, and I thought, this is my exact thoughts. I thought, holy crap, this is like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes into the show. This guy's got it. This is going to be this guy's the survivor. He's the Frank Sinatra of this generation, is what I thought, in terms of, not because he's a crooner, but in terms of he knows what he's doing. He's in charge and he can do it.
Yeah. And the other guy you mentioned, Toby Keith, rest in peace, unfortunately passed away. But he had to have been same resemblances.
Yeah, that's really sad about Toby. Really, he's part of the family out here, and it's touched a lot of hearts.
Yeah, tough deal.
Sad.
One of to switch gears a little bit, one of my favorite things to do with my friends is when we're sitting around drinking beer or whatever, we put on YouTube and it's Nickelback live at the Buffalo Chip, and that is one of my favorite videos because they were great too. And I don't know if it was like a CMT type thing, but you had cameras set up so it was like a live concert that was televised, and that was, Nickelback put on a heck of a show too, and that's one of our favorite things to watch.
We've had lots of, everybody here has put on a heck of a show.
Yeah.
And in 2000, the California record company had a contract with 38 Special, and it's 2000. It doesn't seem like it should be that long ago, but they come out, they were going to do a live recording, the 38 Special live at Sturgis, right? Mm-hmm. And so all the recording equipment came in these buses, and just millions of dollars worth of stuff stacked into these things. And there was a producer, and I said, what? I was just stunned by how big of a project this was. So I asked the producer, I said, geez, why did you decide to do a live recording here? And he said, and this is a quote, he says, well, there seems to be a certain ambiance here that doesn't exist anywhere else. I can remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Words to live by there.
Yeah, no joke.
That's awesome.
And that's it. That's what I was talking about. It's the feeling that they get from the crowd, the people that are here. Mm-hmm. They're having so much fun. They're happy to be here.
Yeah. No, totally. That's spot on. Well,
and for anybody that's hearing this, you're welcome to come back.
Hey, we got. I know you got some stuff to do here. We've been at it for a while, but we've got 2 segments left. And one quick question: are you familiar with like sports teams and stuff? A little bit.
Not very
well. I'll help you out with this. Okay, it's called 10 for 10, and it's 10 straight questions, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just as quick as you can answer them as possible. Okay. Okay, 10 for 10 with Mr. Rod Woodruff, a.k.a. Woody, and away we go. Cat or dog?
Cat.
Hot dog or hamburger?
Neither.
Palm trees or evergreen trees?
Evergreens.
Lake or ocean?
Lake.
Favorite actor or actress?
Raquel Welch is still my gal.
There we go. This one's going to be tricky for you. Favorite band or rap artist?
We've just talked about
Kid and
Kid
Toby.
Rock.
Okay.
Yep.
What city in Texas has an NBA mascot nicknamed the Mavericks?
beats the crap out of
Dallas. What city in Texas has an NFL team nicknamed the Cowboys?
me. Dallas.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah.
What city in Texas spelled backwards reads salad?
I don't know.
Dallas. Who is your favorite podcaster / best buffalo chip guy, including Todd Bailey, your favorite guy?
Yeah, I'm laughing too hard. I didn't even hear you.
No, that's all right. Who is your favorite podcaster / new best friend / better than Todd Bailey?
Oh, Dallas.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that, Rod.
All right.
Swim Lessons is a podcast about overcoming tough times. Leave us with something, Woody, that maybe you look and say to yourself in the mirror when times are getting kind of tough and the chips are against you, and somebody can make it applicable to their life.
Reggae music, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
3 little birds
I like it.
on my doorstep.
I like it. Well, that's a good way to end. Everybody come to Buffalo Chip this summer. Jelly Roll, Kid Rock, Quiet Riot, Aaron Lewis, more acts to come. But appreciate you. I look forward to being here this summer and working with you now, and it's going to be fun.
Thank you.
All right, that's a wrap. Rod Woodruff.